I'm live. I don't usually do this. Check in. It's Saturday morning. Hasn't rained in a little bit, so I'm moving the sprinkler around up front. I'm not sure what I'm going to be doing today. I thought I'd show you the print I made yesterday. Let's see here. This is a larger print. So this is the one I made yesterday. I was experimenting using purple shiso leaves because they are used in Japanese pickle making to impart a purple color. But as you can see, I didn't really get the purple out of them. But that's all right. It was an experiment. There's some subtle different variations, but I used strong, full strength lime juice in the places where you see that kind of green and yellow color. And so these are purple shiso, and then Japanese maple, and then the red bud. So that's what I made yesterday. I need to go through and what do I need to do? I need to go through and photograph all my work. You can see someone was watching for a second and then stopped watching. I don't necessarily do these so that I have a lot of people watching me at the time. I do it so that I don't have to save another file on my computer. Yesterday, I went to Agecroft Hall, and I should have done some video there, the gardens, because they're looking pretty cool. You can't do any photography inside the building. It was a building from the 1600s in England that a guy had taken apart and shipped over to the U.S., to here in Richmond. I don't know what he did for a living, but in any case, he was an Anglophile, so he rebuilt it, and it was actually just maybe a third of the original structure, because in England it was in disrepair, I guess. And this was in the late 20s. So they built it on, I don't know how many acres overlooking the James River. And they have a decent portion of it set up as it would have been in the 1600s. And it's pretty good. It's a pretty good tour. And then they have one room that was the den that is still furnished as the family who lived there had it. And so that was cool. I took a bunch of pictures on the outside in the gardens because they have like some formal-ish gardens, and of course the garden that had all the herbs and the vegetables. That was like my favorite. And then they have like they have a maze cut in the grass. I mean, if you go to my Instagram, which is Ike Therese, you will see the pictures that I took there yesterday, and I got a membership it's like $20 for a year, so I can go back anytime. I don't know that the indoor tour will be anything that I'm particularly wanting to do a lot because it'd just be the same thing, and I can't take pictures inside, but the gardens are always changing. And then in the summer they have Shakespeare, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday in a little outdoor courtyard theater. And apparently people bring their dinners, suppers, and picnic on the lawn and then come in to watch the play. And this month it's Romeo and Juliet. Next month it's As You Like It. Maybe I'll go sometime. That would be a good thing to do. And today I'll just be working in the garden. I've got some... I probably should mow. I'm going to get together with some friends this evening, but we don't know yet where we're going to be. My friend suggested we go out, and I said, maybe everybody can come over here and we can have pizza play Cards Against Humanity. Other than that, not a whole lot else new and exciting. I'm almost finished with How to Change Your Mind by Michael Pollan. Really fascinating, excellent book on psychedelics and the resurgence of research using them for different conditions. I don't personally feel like I would probably ever. Yeah, I've never really dabbled in drugs aside from alcohol and caffeine. I've always been very apprehensive and worried that I would like go crazy or die or something like that. And I'm probably too worried a type of a person for something like pot. But the psychedelics, I mean, there are states that they talk about people getting into on their journeys. And setting is very important. So a lot of times, like Michael Pollan did a few different journeys with different substances, and he had like a guide or a therapist with him. But another way to reach those states is through, they say they find if they study the brain, you want to come up here, is through experienced meditators. So what I've been doing is trying to sort of up my meditation game by that it's like increasing it from kind of 10 minutes just a meta practice of, sending blessings to everyone, to actually feeling a deep relaxation in my body and just being completely aware of the present moment in my physical form, not attaching any thoughts to what I hear, but registering them for being in the moment, and also trying to note if I can sense, the sort of boundary between my physical form and careful, and the world around me. See if I can feel where that's a little permeable. And I was also, so when Michael Pollan describes the journeys that people go on using psychedelics, it seems like part of the process is they give people blindfolds. And when they are blindfolded, that's when they kind of experience, a lot of the imagery of the trip. If it's like too intense, they'll take the blindfold off, and that will bring them, it will be tweaked, but it will bring them into, the sort of present, reality. So something that I was doing when I was meditating today is I was trying to be aware of what I was seeing with my eyes closed, and not what I was imagining. I wasn't thinking things and imagining them, but I was actually trying to physically see what was going on. It's dark, but then there's like a little movement in there, and there's a little bit of colors in there. And when I used to do a different kind of meditation where we had this more intensive breath practice, and it was kind of a goal-oriented meditation style, which didn't really appeal to me all that much. I don't like the goal sort of stuff. But I would, they would say, you look for the light, you look for the light. And there was like this pulsating kind of gold blue light that it wouldn't stay consistent. It would like kind of pulsate in and out. And I think part of that had to do with the way the breath was at the time. But today I was just trying to notice, like, at the beginning, I just saw like a really dark speck right in the center, and that kind of morphed. And every once in a while, I'd see a little green. Anyway, I was trying to understand whether, that if you can meditate deeply enough and kind of get beyond that very strong sense of self and the ego, if these visions or, whatever you want to call it, might come. So I'm not going on any trip soon. For one thing, if you do it with a therapist, it sounds like it's very expensive because it's still illegal. But if you actually have a therapeutic need, there are research trials going on at like Johns Hopkins and NYU, particularly with people with like existential distress because they have been given the diagnosis of a terminal illness and they just really can't, come to terms with this whole idea of death. And apparently, going on, they use psilocybin in these researches. Apparently, it makes a world of difference for the people to continue to live, the rest of their lives, even if it's just a short period of time. And I think they've used it for addiction, for alcohol addiction, and for smokers. But anyway, if you get the book, it's called How to Change Your Mind by Michael Pollan. It is it's a pretty awesome read, and very, very interesting. I would highly recommend it. I still have to finish The Cooking Gene. I just have a little bit more of that book to read. And then a friend sending me another book about some nature project in the UK, I think. So I'm trying to do my reading more. I woke up this morning and it was Saturday morning and it was just like depressed. I still deal with depression quite a lot. If I'm making artwork, if I'm working in the garden, if I have a sense of purpose and connection, I can pull myself out of it. But I do have those times where I just feel this disconnect, this separation that makes it, like, oh God, I got to get up and I got to mow the lawn and I got to water the garden and all this stuff, to the point where I'm just like, oh, really? And I get sad and it's crappy. So I managed to get myself up, did my meditation, did the extra time, and I really want to put a lot more energy into that because I think it'll be just like really helpful for me across the board. So that was just a little check-in. I really need to do more videos when I go out, like when I went to H. Crop Hall, because I think it would be interesting for everyone. And for those of you who have watched, I say hello. I don't know who you are. I don't know how to tell who you are, but I see there's a few people watching, so thank you. And I will see you next time. Bye.